Okay, on this question, it says up here, we are wanting to see if there is a correlation between the number of hours in a week that a child plays violent video games and the number of violent acts she commits that week. Here's the data that was gathered. So we're trying to see, does kids playing violent video games make them do violent acts? That's an important question for our society with all the school shootings and things. So let's see how we would research a question like that. So we took some data. We had some kids play some games, violent video games, and then we watched how many violent acts they did during the week. So this is so Francesca played 4 hours of violent video games, and she committed only one violent act, pulled somebody's hair or something. Manuel had 6 hours of violent games that he played during the week, and he committed 5 violent acts, etc. So first off, it says plot the points in the grid below, then sketch a line that best fits the data. How's that going to work? Well, if you notice down here, we have some graphing tools. If you click on this one, it's already highlighted the line maker. You make lines. With this one, you can make U-shaped graphs. With this one, you can make V graphs. We don't want any of that. We want to start with the dot making tool by which we can make dots. So I'm going to put the dots. So the first dot is going to be 4, 1 over 4. This is the X and this is the Y. How do I know? Look down here. On the X-axis is hours of violent games. Hours of violent games. On the Y is number of violent acts. Number of violent acts is on the Y. So 4 hours. So Francesca, she's over 4 up 1. So Francesca is over 4 up 1 right there. Boom. That dot represents Francesca because she played 4 hours of violent video games and up one violent act. Next person, Manuel. He did 6, 5, over 6 up 5. Over 6 up 5, right there is Manuel. Now, if you get it wrong, you can highlight. See how when I move my mouse over it, I can move it all around. But if you get it excellently wrong, you can adjust it. So over 6 up 5. That one represents Manuel. He played 6 hours of violent video games up to 5 violent acts. Next person, Caitlin. What's Caitlin up to? Caitlin did an 8, 7. So over 8 up 7. Boom, there's Caitlin. She did 8 hours of violent video games, 7 aggressive acts, violent acts. Lola, over 14 up 5. Over 14 up 5. Lola loves those violent video games, 14 hours of violent video games, but only did 5 violent acts during the week. Zari, 15, 8. Over 15 up 8. Right there. So Zari did 15 hours of violent video games, 8 aggressive acts. How about Mr. Dwayne? 17, 8. So 17, 8 right there. There's Dwayne. And Jan, 19, 14. 19, 14. Boom, right there. Last one. Elia, 2015. 2015. There we go. Over 20 and 15. Okay. So the question, so there's the dots. Now, it says plot the dots right here. Plot the dots. I did. Then there's a then. Sketch a line that best fits the data. So I've got to put a line that fits through the data. How do you do that? Click on the line making tool right here and go click, click. Notice it doesn't have to go through the origin. It just has to go through the middle of the dots. Is that pretty good? Maybe you can hover over it and move it. I want to adjust the line a little bit. Does that look like it's through the middle of the dots? Sorta, kind of. Pretty good, I guess. I'm going to say it's good enough. If you can move it around if you don't like it. Maybe like that. I don't know. I'm going to submit. And see what it says. Okay, good. I got a green check mark. So that line, it's not perfect, but it's generally through the middle of the dots. And there's the dots. The dots do seem to go up to the right, like more hours of violent video games means more violent acts. And then finally down here, it says, use the line to predict the number of violent acts in a week for a child who plays 16 hours of violent video games. So if a child plays 16 hours, that'd be right here, 16 hours of violent video games. Go up to the, I said, use the line, right? Use the line. So go up to the line. How high are we? Let's see, go over here. Oh, I don't know, 9 or 10, close to 10. So 16 is really close to 10. Is it 9 or is it 10? I think it'll take either one. What does it say? Yeah, 10. It wants to answer 10. It'll take 9 also. Watch, I'll type in 9 and I'll submit. It'll take 9 or 10. Yeah, 9 or 10. Either of those is a good answer. So how did I find that? I went over 16. Went over to 16 hours of violent video games. Went up. That line predicts about 10. That child, so that means that line, which goes through the middle of the dots, which fits the dots, shows a relationship between how many hours of violent video games and how many violent acts people do. Meaning a child who plays 16 hours of violent video games probably will commit about 10 violent acts during the week, 9 or 10. That's what our prediction is. And so there we go.